The New York Jets got their head coach. Aaron Glenn is in New York. The New York Jets welcome Aaron Glenn to New York today, a day after the Bears hired Ben Johnson. You know that was strategic. They wanted to steal the headlines from the Bears. They didn't want to share headlines with the Bears either by announcing it a day early. So they waited till today to hire Aaron Glenn. They got their dude, clearly their dude, because they waited until right after the Lions got eliminated to announce him. So they were just waiting the Lions to get eliminated to announce that he is their coach moving forward, like the Bears did with Ben Johnson. I feel for the Lions fans. Your coordinators were focused on getting jobs. And no matter how much they can deny it, how much it's like, oh, that was an issue, it just be played bad. No. They were focused on other things. Should have been more focused on winning these playoff games. But the Jets, they get their coach, they get their leader of men, and now it's a wait and see what happens with Aaron Rodgers and what happens with the offensive side of the ball. Because Aaron Glenn, defensive coach, another defensive coach for the Jets. It's another pattern for the Jets. They hire these new head coaches that never had coached before, and they're defensive head coaches. Saleh, Rex Ryan, Eric Mangini, and who's the other one? Todd Bowles. All four of those guys, new head coaches, first time head coaches, defensive coach. But Aaron Glenn is gifted a good defense with the Jets. They have talent. Sauce Gardner, Quentin Williams, a bunch of talent. Reed. And he has some decisions to make with the offense. It's especially with Aaron Rodgers, which that his return is all dependent on who the offensive coordinator is, who the head coach is, who the GM is, and it's going to be interesting. Because this is something that needs to get sorted out fast in order for the new head coach to feel comfortable heading in a direction. All right, like Aaron Rodgers needs to make a decision based on the offensive coordinator, which should get announced within the week, with the new GM that should get announced soon. It needs to get sorted out. And at least Aaron Glenn knows what he's getting into with the New York Jets. He played for New York Jets. He knows the pressure of New York and the New York Jets sports market. And that's going to give him he's still going to feel the pressure. It's a ruthless market, and they're going to expect a winning season out the gate, especially with the success he had with the Lions. And the other factor of pressure for Aaron Glenn is if this season ends bad, I mean, there's no way the Jets run it back with the core of this team. I feel like they've been having this core of this team for the last 2 years. It's been different. Aaron Rodgers got hurt. Aaron Rodgers came back. They still sucked. But they had Robert Saleh, Sauce Gardner. This defense, it feels like it's been the same core of the team for the last couple of years. So Aaron Glenn right now has the pressure of if this season goes badly for him, it's gonna be a rebuild. You're gonna have to sit through a rebuild. So there's the pressure of having success this season and being able to build off of that success and build off of the team and improve the team throughout these next 2 seasons. But if you suck and you go 6-10 or 7-10, there's no way the GM or Woody Johnson doesn't blow up this team, get their guys, GM gets his guys, and Aaron Glenn's guys. And it's going to be a rebuild. It's going to be a new quarterback. It's already going to be a new quarterback after this season. This is Aaron Rodgers is 1 season if he doesn't retire early. So he's going to need a new quarterback. So that's why he needs to hit on the offense. Offensive coordinator, especially this season. He needs to hit on it to bring Aaron Rodgers back. I think you bring Aaron Rodgers back. He played good after he fully recovered from his Achilles injury at the end of the season. He played well. He's Aaron Rodgers. He's going to play well again. Give him a full camp. Make sure that he's in camp. None of this ayahuasca retreat bullcrap. Make sure he's there. Make sure he's connected with the team. And he's learning this offense. He's got to learn new offense. Unfortunately, he probably doesn't want to do that. I see that as a reason for him to retire. But you got to bring him back. There's no other option. Who are you going to go get? Kirk Cousins? Jackson Dart? No. Go get Aaron Rodgers. Figure it out. See what you can do this season with this team. Get your guys. Get some of your guys this offseason. See what you can do. Hopefully you're successful. Hopefully this new regime implements some success in New York. Actually, not hopefully. I don't like the Jets. I'm a Dolphins fan. I do not like the Jets. Please don't find success. And I like the hire. If I'm a Jets fan, I would like the hire. Because this is a leader of men. Aaron Glenn. Everybody has something positive to say about him. And not only that, it's the fact that he's going to install a similar culture to what Dan Campbell installed in the Lions, which may take a little bit, but you're going to find your guys that want to be with you, that buy in. It's going to be tough for these guys to buy in because they already bought into Robert Saleh. Robert Saleh was these guys' guy. Sauce Gardner and them. He was their guy. So it's going to be tough for them to buy into another defensive coach that's going to come in with the same philosophy. But I think Aaron Glenn will come in with a little different. He'll install a different culture, a better culture for this team to succeed. And on the Jets, I'm happy because it feels different. And I got the feeling that it's gonna be different. It's not gonna be Bowles. It's not gonna be you would want it to be Rex Ryan. It's not gonna be Bowles. It's not gonna be Salah. It's gonna be someone. This Aaron Glenn feels different from those two. But if I'm a Jets fan, there's also the fact it's the same old Jets from 15 years ago, hiring a new head coach, a new defensive coordinator head coach. And what's different? You guys are still following the same pattern from years ago. So that's tough. But I would still be happy about Aaron Glenn. Even though, in my opinion, I go Mike McCarthy. Why did I go Mike McCarthy? You got one more year of Aaron Rodgers. He likes Mike McCarthy. He's talked about him throughout the season. He likes Mike McCarthy. He thinks he did good last season. You get Aaron Rodgers, an offense he's already familiar with for his last year. See what happens. And then you got an offensive coach that is decent. There's a high floor. There's probably not a high ceiling, but there's a high floor to Mike McCarthy. And he'll get you to the playoffs. He's not going to win you the Super Bowl, but he'll get you to the playoffs. And that stops the bleeding for this dreadful franchise. This team, this franchise has been dreadful ever since I've known it. So, yeah, I would have went Mike McCarthy, offensive coach. Aaron Rodgers knows one last year, one last go-around with the guy he won a Super Bowl with. But they went defense again. He feels different. Culture guy. Leader of men. And that's all you can ask for. You got the hot defensive coordinator. Now, speaking of Lions coordinators, the Bears got the hottest head coach candidate, the hot offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson. And you cannot complain about getting Ben Johnson at all. At all. Offensive guy, crazy offense, revived Jared Goff, revived the Lions offense. And he's just one of those new quirky offensive guys that are head coaches now. I was watching the presser. He's pretty weird. All right, he's a pretty weird dude. He talks like Mike McDaniel, boring, but he makes those little jokes, those little smart comments, and this is the guy you want. You're the Bears. They were flirting with defense. That's all I saw. They were flirting with defense. Weaver, Flores, they were flirting with defensive interviews. They interviewed the whole goddamn universe. But they got the right dude. They got the dude that everybody wanted. And this has a high ceiling to the hire, but it also has a low floor to the hire. So there's a lot of room for error and there's a lot of room for high success. And this is the guy they want 10 years with Caleb Williams. This is the guy they hope can carry Caleb Williams through the prime of his career and implement an offense that will find them the most success with the number one overall pick in the 2024 draft. And it's going to be a lot of pressure because this Bears front office already tried to implement a better offense for the last coach, and it didn't go well. But they're committed to improving the offense, and that's a good thing for Ben Johnson. I feel like he's seen that, and he was like, okay, I'll go here. I got Caleb Williams, endless amount of talent, a front office that wants to win, is committed to actually spending money. Just needs to revamp this whole line and get their shit together. But there's also the pressure of this front office. From this front office. Of Ben Johnson possibly going 7-10 like it's a for Aaron Glenn. And they're definitely getting fired. Ryan Poles getting fired if this season isn't a success and they're not in playoff contention or even the playoffs. But Ben Johnson, right dude, knows the division. He obviously took the job because he knows the division. And I think he knows the Lions are going to be weak. He knows the Lions. He knows their flaws. And I think he knows they're going to be weak. But he knows, he said in his pressure, feels good beating the Packers twice. And that's how you win the Bears fans over. But don't let that backfire. Don't let that comment of you saying it's good beating the Packers twice backfire on you. Because they'll hold it against you once you lose to the Packers. Even if you lose both times, you'll see that clip for the rest of your career. But he's already making moves. Hired Dennis Allen. Defense coach, like Aaron Glenn. He has to get the defense right. Aaron Glenn has to get the offense right. He has to get the defense right. Especially for first-time head coaches. And the good thing with Dennis Allen is he has head coach experience. He was just a head coach. He has head coach experience. He just got fired by the Saints. Has head coach experience. He is a leader of men type of dude. And I know Ben Johnson will instill a culture just similar to Dan Campbell. So the thing you give Aaron Glenn, thing you give Ben Johnson, they're gonna establish a culture. They're gonna be able to lead this team. The last thing I wanted to get to real quick before I end the video is two lines coordinators are gone. Two of the best coordinators in the league, and Dan Campbell is left with having to hire a fresh new slate of coordinators to help him run his team. And Dan Campbell, he's come from a tight ends coach. He's offense, but he's a leader. He's a culture establisher. He's a coach. He is not a play caller. He doesn't come up with the plays. He's not game planning the plays. He's gonna set up a game plan, but he's not game planning the plays. And he needs two coordinators. And the problem is, I feel for the Lions, man. This was their year to win it. They had the two of the top coordinators in each, both offense and defense in the league. One, the offense was the best one. Defense, definitely a top coordinator. I don't know if you can say he's the best. Brian Flores, other variables. They went undefeated in the division, won the division, and now their coordinators left them and they lost in the divisional round. This was their shot. They still have about a 2-year window before everybody needs to get paid. This is the issue. This year, it's not so much people need to get paid, but Dan Skipper is a free agent this year. He still needs to get paid. But the likes of Agent Hutchinson is going to need money. Jameer Gibbs in a couple years. J-Mo is eventually going to get paid. He's really good. So it's the fact that they had this one. This was the window where they had everybody on the cheap deals. They paid Penei Sewell already. They had everybody on cheap deals. They had the coordinators to assemble the game plan to make the team, and they had Campbell to establish this team and lead the team. And this was their year. And now they lost two coordinators. Dan Campbell's now on the hunt for two great coordinators because you need a good offensive coordinator for Jared Goff. He's had a good offensive coordinator throughout this year. He's been to the Super Bowl, been on winning teams. And Ben Johnson unlocked another level of Jared Goff where he can lead a high-powered offense. And I don't know if you can get that in anybody. Anybody can replicate that. And it's going to be hard to search for a good offensive coordinator. And then defense. The defense was shaky with Aaron Glenn towards the end of the season, but that was due to injuries. You need a new defensive coordinator. The Lions need both on the hunt for offense, defensive coordinators with a good team. So it's going to be an attractive job, obviously. But can these new coordinators coming in replicate or just nearly replicate what Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn did? I don't think that's possible. You're going to win some games. You have Dan Campbell, you have a culture, and then you have Jameer Gibbs, David Montgomery, and a good O-line. If you have two good running backs or even just one good running back at O-line, you're going to win games in the NFL. I mean, you see the Eagles are dominating or winning games in the playoffs just off of Saquon and their O-line. Jalen Hurts is not even playing good. But you're going to win games, but you need someone to unlock Jared Goff again, and you need someone to lead the defense and help Dan Campbell lead this team to another run. I just want to touch on that real quick. We'll get to some conference picks later this week, probably Friday, and that's it.